Hello and welcome to the Adobe Twitch channel. My name is Terry White, Worldwide Design and Photography Evangelist for Adobe, and it's my pleasure to stream to you for the next couple of hours. If you're watching this as a video on demand or replay, thanks for watching the replay, but note that this is a live show that happens every Tuesday and Friday, usually from 10 a.m. till noon Eastern Time. So today is going to be our usual two-part series. We're going to do part 1 from 10 to 11 and part 2 from 11 till noon. Part 1 will be on the brand new launch of Adobe Spark. We'll talk all about that and what that means. And part 2, we'll stop the stream, restart the stream, stop the recording, restart the recording for my Creative Cloud learning stream or learning stream on Lightroom. Introduction to Lightroom CC. This will be part 6 of an 8-part series. So part 6 today is going to be all about Lightroom Mobile, and then that means there are 2 parts left that normally would happen next Tuesday and next Friday, but just as a special programming note because next Friday got preempted by the off show in Europe, I will be doing parts 7 and 8 on Tuesday. So instead of doing part 7 on Tuesday and part 8 on next Friday, we'll do both parts 7 and 8 from 10 to noon on Tuesday. So 2 hours of Lightroom on Tuesday instead of the usual hour. So just make that note if you are going to be joining me for the learning stream and wrapping up those last 2. All right. Hello, Hong Kong. Let's see. Let's give some shout outs here. Joe. Yes, Spark. Yay. Nightbot, always glad to see you botting around here. Hello, France. CIA Design, if I'm saying that right. Great to see you here as well. And if I didn't notice your name or notice your comment, feel free to type it back in, and I'll try and give you a shout out sometime during the stream. What's that? The Elite Shiny Hunter. Hello. All right, and hello, Victoria, my mod for the day and all my streams. Victoria, glad to see you here and keeping the questions answered. So I don't have to stop every 5 seconds and answer every single question. But if you have questions, Victoria can most likely answer them. So for those of you watching the video on demand or the replay, that is what happens during a live stream. I do talk to the live audience, and if you want to be a part of that audience, then definitely join us here live on Tuesdays and Fridays at twitch.tv/Adobe. So let's talk about Adobe Spark. Welcome everyone, and let's get right to it. I did a broadcast on it yesterday on my own Facebook fan page, and what I expected to be a 20 minute broadcast ended up being an hour because there was literally that much to talk about. For those of you who are saying, what's Adobe Spark? Adobe Spark is actually the rebranding. Hey, Anissa, how are you? Is the rebranding of 3 products that used to be, for the most part, mobile apps only. So you might remember products formerly known as Adobe Slate, Adobe Post, and Adobe Voice. Those 3 products now make up what we call Adobe Spark. So instead of Adobe Post, it's Adobe Spark Post or Spark Post. And instead of Adobe Slate, it's Adobe Spark Page. And instead of Adobe Voice, it's Adobe Spark Video. Now the other big thing is, well, it's not just rebranding the apps, it's also making 98% of the functionality of the apps available on the web. So even if you didn't have an iOS device, which some of you don't. Some of you are Android or Windows Mobile or, heaven forbid, BlackBerry, but there are lots of users out there in different platforms. Now you can take advantage of, like I said, 98 to 99% of what's available in those 3 applications in a web browser. So just from your computer, you can log in to spark.adobe.com and you can use Spark for free. You can use all 3 applications for free to help you communicate with impact. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to walk you through each of the applications. I'm going to spend the bulk of the time in the browser because that's what's new. There are, like I said, like that 2% or 1% that isn't in the browser, and I'll talk about that at the end. Also, I will make a note, in case I forget, let me say it now. They're still all three available as iOS apps. And now they've been brought over to both iPhone and iPad. For example, Slate used to only be on the iPad. Then it went to the web, but it was still as an app, it was only an iPad app. Now, Slate is also an iPhone, or Adobe Spark Page is also an iPhone app. So the app that used to only be for iPad, which was Slate, now its new form, Adobe Spark Page, is iPad, iPhone, and web. Same thing for Adobe Post. Adobe Post for creating engaging social media posts or graphics for your social media posts used to be an iPhone only app, period. It didn't have a web component. Now, Adobe Spark Post is on the web, iPhone, and as of yesterday, iPad. So, Slate became Page and is now available on the iPhone. Post became Adobe Spark Post and is now available also on the iPad. And they're all available on the web. So if you have a web browser and a computer, you can all participate and take advantage of Adobe Spark. So that's the way it works. The other thing is Spark is so free, in fact, that it doesn't even require an Adobe ID. Although an Adobe ID is a great thing to have, I think with Spark you can log in with your Facebook account, and I think you can log in with, if I'm not mistaken, your Google ID as well. I can't remember on that last one, but there's a third option to log in with. Now, it's free. Doesn't cost anything. Use it to your heart's content. All of the videos and stories are hosted at Adobe. You can download things and use them, any way you want. But if you are a Creative Cloud member, then you get the extra benefit of being able to tap into your Creative Cloud assets. So for example, today we're going to be talking about Lightroom Mobile in the second hour. If you are using Lightroom Mobile, then your Lightroom Mobile collections are synced, of course, to Lightroom Mobile and available in Spark. So again, if you are a Creative Cloud member, you get that extra benefit of being able to use your Creative Cloud assets. If you have stuff in your Creative Cloud folder, you can pull those things over. But if you don't, you can still pull things over from your device. You can upload from your desktop. You can pull things in from Dropbox. So the team made it as free and as flexible as they could in this first iteration. All right, so with that said, let me see if I need to answer anything else. Hey, Tumbleweed13, good morning. Let's see if I missed anybody. Hello, Vicky, CBR Network. What's going on? All right, I think I got it. All right, so let's switch the monitor over so you guys can see what I'm doing here. And did that wake up? Yes, it woke up. Okay. All right, so now you should be able to see my web browser. And I'm in Safari for this first part. I'm going to switch over to Chrome at the end because I was having a problem. I normally use Chrome as my browser, but I was having a problem in Adobe Spark Page with my implementation of Chrome. There's some plugin that was blocking something yesterday for me in Chrome. So I'm going to do this first part in Safari, and then I'm going to switch over to Chrome at the end. And then I'll switch over to the iPhone at the end to show those last couple of things that aren't available on the web. But like I said, for the most part, it's all available on the web except for a couple minor things in Spark Post that are still on the app only. And we'll talk about those as we get to them. And I'm not to say that they won't make it onto the web. It's just as of today, they're not on the web. Those couple little features. Okay, so what is this? So first and foremost, the website, once again, if Victoria, if you can go, oh, she already put that in. So it's spark.adobe.com. If you go to that page, you can, of course, log in with your browser. Now, here's the odd thing. This page it'll load on a mobile device, but it's not fully functional on a mobile device. So spark.adobe.com is really for the desktop. If you're going to use a mobile device, unfortunately, right now, unless you're on iOS, it has to be an iOS device. And at that point, if you are on iOS, you can download Spark Page, Spark Post, and Spark Video. Otherwise, just do it on the browser, on a desktop computer or laptop, and then you're all set. Now that we're here, what are the three Just wanted to check something. What are the three products or three parts that make up Spark? There's Spark Page, Spark Post, and Spark Video. Like I said, Spark Page originated from Adobe Slate, Spark Post originated from Adobe Post, and Spark Video originated from what was formerly known as Adobe Voice. But anyway, these three functions, these three apps, these three services make up what's called Spark. Now, someone asked me yesterday after my broadcast, so I didn't even mention it during the broadcast, what does Spark mean? Like, where did that name come from? And I asked the same question because I didn't know either. But Spark is to spark an idea. That's where Spark, the name, comes from. So the team came up with Spark, and that's the name. All right, I want to check one more thing over here. All right, I was going to check to see if there was something there that I see in the app, but not here. Okay, so let's start with the inspiration gallery. So here you'll have three tabs of this web page: My Projects, which we'll get to in a minute, Inspiration Gallery, and Blog. If I go to the Inspiration Gallery, which I'm on right now, I can select a category, and then it will show me inspiration for that category. Since I'm into photography and travel and lifestyle, I will choose photography for this first one. And what this will do is it will show me examples of each thing. So it's showing me an example post, it's showing me an example page, and it's showing me an example video. And if I just keep going, another post, another video, another page. So let's look at each one. This one's pretty easy because a post is just that. It's a graphic with text on it. If you were just going to use a graphic, then you don't need Spark Post, just post your graphic. But if you wanted to add a text to your graphic, but you're not really a designer, that's where Spark comes into play. Hey Renee, how's it going? So if you are design challenged, or even if you are a designer and you just want to mock up something quick without having to think about doing everything from scratch every single time, then you'll love the Spark product. So in this case, it's a flower with some text on it, and the font and the shape and all of that stuff is built in as a design. Now, we'll get to more of that in just a second. All right, let's talk about Spark Page. Here's an example of a page. Now, Spark Page is a web page. So it's for creating your stories on the web. Originally, it was for photos and text. Now it's photos, text, and video. Because video got added to Slate and now Spark Page in the last update. So this is just all of these Spark pages are one long continuous page. The length is up to you as for as much information as you want to put in it. It usually starts off with a title, maybe a subtitle, and a subtitle is optional, and a background image. So as you scroll down, you see more text or images or video or links, whatever the person put into their Spark page. These scroll effects, where you kind of get this parallax thing going, is built in. These captions are optional, the ability for you to type in text and put in images or videos, whatever you choose, or not. It's up to you. They're optional. And as you scroll, this is what's called a photo grid. If you want to click on one of the images, you can. You can walk through the photo grid like a slideshow. So you can just go through and click on each of the images, or you can close it and just look at the whole grid. This is what's called a wide screen, or full screen in this case, full screen photo. And you have the ability to tell when you place a photo, you get to format the photo how you want it to be. Do you want it to be a scrolling window? Like this one is a scrolling window. It's a window over the photo. Do you want the photo to be full width, full screen? Or do you just want it to be just a photo right sitting in the middle of the page? And again, this is another photo grid. And the idea here is you're using Spark Page to use your pictures, use your text and your words, and use your video to tell whatever story you want. Now, I want to make a good point here and letting people know that, well, because people look at these inspirational examples and say, well, I haven't gone anywhere lately. I haven't traveled. I don't have a story to tell. It doesn't have to be a travel story. It doesn't have to be about photography. Internally, we use Spark Page for reports. If we had an event or even an online thing and we want to talk about the event and maybe post screenshots or statistics or charts or whatever, we'll use Spark Page to design the whole thing and put the whole thing together. And then we get a link to pass that link around to tell the story about that event. So it could be a story. It could be an idea. It doesn't always have to be somewhere, some fabulous place you travel to and you're telling your story about your trip. If you traveled somewhere fabulous, that's great, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be about anything. You went to the, okay, great. If you went to the park yesterday and you fed the pigeons and you took pictures and you want to talk about it. That's an example of what could be a Spark page. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep scrolling down. Again, this particular example is very long. This person really got into it. They use lots of imagery, not a lot of text. So if your pictures are going to tell the story for you, then let your pictures tell the story for you. You don't have to use text for every single thing. And this person used a very minimal amount of text, but they could have put text in everywhere on captions on each picture, retouching photos by HDR, Lightroom, and Photomatix. Okay, great. And it just keeps going on and on and on. So this is one of the longer examples I've seen. I don't think I've even seen one this long yet. It just keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. Okay, then we get to the bottom. It says who it was created by, and you get the ability to click appreciate if you like it. And so that's like giving it a thumbs up or a like on social media. So you've got the ability to do that. Pigeons, yes. Michael Chase, how are you? Good morning. So that's an example of one of the inspirational Spark page stories. Now, Spark Video, again, formerly known as Adobe Voice. Video is about, it's a video, obviously, that'll play, but let me explain the idea behind Spark Video. So, Spark Post, single image with text. It could be multiple text, but single image with text. Spark Page, a web page with images, text, video, links, whatever you want. Spark Video, a single video with pictures, text, and your voice with background music. So I haven't seen this one yet. I'm playing it for the first time in front of you. But the idea is, and I'll show you when it's time to build one. So let's go ahead and hit play.
When type meets image, there's automatically a dialogue between them, which can pull the message into many different directions. Today, we're going to look at the 4 critical relationships of type and image. Learning the differences of these relationships is essential in the graphic design process and will eventually help you in concepting your designs. We are going to cover separation, fusion.
All right. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you get the idea. So it's a person narrating. I know you might not be able to hear the whole thing because I'm not running the audio from my computer through the stream. One day I'll figure out how I should set that up for my streams and do it. But in the meantime, what was going on there was a picture with some text over it and a person narrating what the picture was about or what that part of the story was about. And then it went to the next picture and you heard the person continue to narrate. Now, in the past, if you wanted to do that, you would narrate a whole long script or track of the whole thing and then you'd edit either the photos or text on top, or you would just you have all the edited text and photos done and you try and narrate it as it played. The idea behind Spark Video is it's much simpler. You put a picture down, maybe some text if you want, and then you narrate that one picture and you stop. Then you add the next picture and you narrate that picture and you stop. You add the next picture until you're done. Then when you play it back, it's seamless as one continuous movie. So as long as you're recording and doing it in the same setup, meaning you're not doing some today, leaving, coming back tomorrow, and the mic's now further away from you, or you're not talking as loud as you were before, it should sound continuous. It should sound like it's one continuous video. So Spark Video is for you to narrate your story with imagery and text. Spark Page is a web page that you're creating with text, images, and video. And Spark Post is a graphic post usually for social media, blogs, videos, whatever you want to do with it. All right, so let's get out of this example. And again, I could scroll down and find more examples here, but I think we're good on example or inspiration, I should say. And we can go through now and actually start creating some of these. So let's see here. Let's see if I'm missing any comments. Lots of people talking to each other. That's good. All right. Okay, just making sure I haven't missed any comments. Awesome. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to go through and start creating some of these. But I am curious about this one. Wait, one more Spark page. I just want to see this one. All right, we'll wait for it to load. And this is a photographer's portfolio type page. Ooh, I love that. Now this is where they put two scrolling images one right after another. I never thought to do that. That's actually pretty cool. Scrolling windows one after another. And see, that one was pretty short. That's why I wanted to see it real quick. So that they don't have to be super long. You can make them as long or as short as you want them to be. All right, so we'll close that, and now we'll go back to where we were, and we'll now start creating our own. So the first one I'm going to create is a Spark post. Second one I'm going to create is a Spark page, and then we'll finish up on Spark Video, and then I'll jump back over to the mobile app and show you the couple missing features that aren't on the web yet. So how do you create one? Well, you got this big yellow plus sign right here. So when you click the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, it will then ask you, well, what do you want? Do you want to post, a page, or a video? So you pick one, whichever one you want to start with. And again, you don't have to ever use all three. If you just want to use post every day, you can use post. If you just want to use page when you want to use page. The three separate things. They don't have to be used together. So let's say that I wanted to create a inspirational post for Instagram today. So I'm going to go ahead and create that post. And it's loading the interface for it. And then it will ask me, what do you want your text to say? Because remember, it's usually text. Because if it were just an image, you wouldn't need Spark Post. And then what format do you want it in? So Instagram is defaulting to square, although Instagram doesn't have to be square anymore. You can use whatever layout you want. But it still will default to square unless you change it. So where am I going to get this text from? I've already typed it, so you don't have to watch me type it. All right, so let's go ahead and paste it in. Otherwise, you would type it in. So see how much faster and easier that was when I have the text already ready to go? All right, the climb is tough, but the view from the top is worth it. So we're going to hit continue. And it proposed this design. And you're either going to love it, or you're going to hate it, or you think it's going to be just okay. And in either case, you can make changes. Now, it will give you the current theme or suggested themes. And if you click on a different suggested theme, it will change everything about it. Change the colors, the background image, the font, the shape. It'll change everything. And of course, you can add more text or replace the photo at any given time. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and click on a different one. And again, a different one. And it will just keep going through them and giving me examples. What exactly is a photography evangelist? Someone's asking on the chat. I evangelize photography and Adobe's photography products. I tell customers about them and show them in use in photography. That's what my job is as a photography evangelist. Okay, anyway, so I can keep going through these. Now, notice it's showing me the examples, but it's not necessarily using those photos. So it's really just showing me the example of what it might look like on a photo, but I could at any time switch out or swap out the photo. So at this point, I may not really want to decide what it's going to look like until I change the photo. So let's go back to the original. And let's go ahead and hit replace. Now when I click replace, I get the ability to just simply upload a photo, because remember, this is a free web tool. If you're on the web and you've got a photo on your computer, you can click upload, go find the photo and upload it. If you are a Creative Cloud member, then you get access to your Creative Cloud Files folder or your Lightroom mobile photos. Now, if you're not a Creative Cloud member, you still have access to your Dropbox and your Google Photos as well. So for that, I want to go ahead and click on Lightroom. And I'm going to go all the way down to, let's go down to my Twitch Tuesday. And in my Twitch Tuesday, I've got a photo that I want to use. And there it is. So now I've got the photo in place. And now I've got the photo in place, obviously I don't like the layout anymore. I don't like this. So I can go to the theme and try different themes. Again, now I can click through, and now this starts to make more sense as I'm clicking through it, and I can go ahead and make changes based on what I'm seeing. Now, let's say, for example, let's say I like this one, but I don't like the way it's covering the subject, in this case, me. Well, you can, at any point, move this stuff around. You can pick it up, move it around right here in the web browser. And here's the beauty of it. There's some intelligence behind the resizing. So for example, I can pick this up and resize this, and that doesn't look good for the graphic. I love the text, but I don't love the graphic anymore. And at any given time, if I don't want that shape, I can go in and say, basic, no shape. Don't put a shape on it. I don't want the shape anymore. I kind of like maybe this. Now, I don't like the fact that it's making the it so big. And unfortunately, I don't have a way to change that. But if I just reshape it a little bit more, then it reshapes it to where it doesn't make the it big and obnoxious like that. Now, let's say I like that size, but I'm not necessarily convinced that I like the font, the color, the way this is looking on this background. So let me go ahead and click save. Let's get out of that shape. And while this is selected, you get my favorite new wheel that was added recently to Adobe Post, which is now Adobe Spark Post, and that's the style suggestion wheel. I like to call it the design wheel. If you're the kind of person, like me, that sometimes you don't know, something should be changed or it doesn't quite look the way you want it to look, but you don't know what you want to change it to. In other words, I don't have an exact color I know I want to use. I don't have an exact font I know I want to use, but I'll know it when I see it. So for the person asking, which Adobe software is this being used on the chat? This is Adobe Spark Post. All right, so what I'm going to do is just dial the wheel. As I turn the wheel, the selected object will change. And it's not just 360. In other words, when I get around and I keep going, it'll keep going. So as I keep dialing this will keep changing, and then you just stop on the one you like, or one that's close to the one you like, and then you can tweak it with any of the settings down here. So if I dial this, no, 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 maybe, no, yes, no. See what I mean? You just keep going until one starts to maybe look the way you would want it to look. And I've already gone around once and it's still continuing to make changes to it. So that one I could live with. Now I could live with that one certainly from a designs perspective. I like the color background that it's using for the type. I'm not crazy about the font itself. So if that were one that I wanted to maybe start with, then I can click save and say, yeah, I kind of like that one. The only thing I don't like about it is the font. Then I can go straight to font and make changes just to the font. Everything else will stay the same. So if I want to try it with that font or this font or this font, I can keep going through all these different fonts until I kind of found something that's looking better or looking closer to what I would want. Maybe not that one, maybe not that one. Let's go back up here. I kind of like these better. All right, so maybe I want that one. Again, this is just random choosing, random choices. And again, I can still reshape, resize, run it any way I want, and it'll continue to reshape and resize it to my heart's content. If I want to go back now, change that font, go back to shape. If I want to try a shape on it again, I can try a shape on it again. I can try that, or try that, or try that, or try this. I can try anything I want to try on it. Kind of like that one, actually. Until I'm happy with it, or until I like it. Whichever comes first. Or, in this case, that one's okay. So you got tons of shapes, tons of different things to try. If you don't like any of those, just hit cancel. It'll take you right back to where you were. So you can always continue to experiment and play. Now, the one thing I also noticed is that on the photo itself, it added a filter to it. It added this kind of reddish burgundy color. So if I click on that, I can see it added the magnolia filter to it. Well, maybe I don't want that filter. Turn it off. So it's pretty much completely customizable to anything you'd want to change in it. Swap out to a different photo. Change the text, change the font. And although it can only have one photo at a time, I would love to be able to add another photo, by the way, Spark Team. But although I can add only one photo at a time, I can at any time add more text. So I can say terrywhite.com, or no, here, let's do this. Terry White Photography. Actually, let's use the shorter one. That one's shorter. If I spell it right. All right, terrywhite.photography. Save. Now that text has been added as a new element. And it took on the same style as the other one. And, ooh, smart guides. I didn't know those were there. All right, smart guides, which are not really there. Now it's working. And again, now I can redesign that one. Ooh. I'm starting to find the ones I like already. That one's kind of cool too. So you can add multiple text objects and style them differently, complementary hopefully, but differently. And you can, but still one image at a time. Hopefully one day we'll get the add another image, then you can put your logo or your watermarks and your things in like that. But right now it is one image, multiple text if you want, or just one text. And again, you can pick this up, move it around, put it anywhere you want, and you get the smart guys to help you keep it lined up. Okay, so once we're done, what next? Well, the whole time, let me explain one more thing before we say we're done. And this is something I took for granted and didn't really understand right off the bat. The palette that it picks for the color is actually created from the image you use. So I didn't get that when I first started using Post. I was like, why is it picking these colors? And yes, I am going to Adobe Max. Why is it getting these, where are these colors coming from? And I didn't realize, I just didn't think about it right away, that it's actually pulling the initial colors from the image. You can use those. Now, if I keep clicking, it'll keep cycling through the colors. But if you want to use a different color palette, you can. All these color palettes are available. And if you click your way through, it'll continue to suck colors in from the image and use them as part of your design. So you can cycle through any of these color themes to also continue to design your look and feel based on the colors that are already in the image itself. And I should have stopped on one that I saw earlier. I kind of liked it. Let's go back through. And of course, you can still select either individual item and make changes to it as well. That one would have been okay. Picky, picky, picky. So much pickiness, so little time. All right, I'm going to settle on one in just a second. Sooner or later, I'll settle on one. All right, we'll settle on this one just so I can stop clicking. All right, but anyway, you got your, and that was only on one color palette. If you imagine if I had kept going through all the color palettes to pick from. So, and by the way, it's also a smart resize. Remember we started with Instagram? Well, that's not the original size of the photo. So if I click the original size of the photo, it resizes everything smartly. So the bar at the bottom got resized for the whole photo. The text will move around if it needs to resize for the whole photo. It'll still keep things fairly aligned. And you can resize this any way you want. So if I want to put this in a portrait view, Facebook ad, it becomes a Facebook ad. Blog post 16 by 9. Oh, there's a 16 by 9. I was looking for that yesterday. So this will be good for videos as well. Social profile, if I wanted to make that my Facebook cover, that's not going to be a good thing until I pull the photo down. Twitter header, same thing. And yes, you can pull the photo down. Now this photo, yeah, that'll work. YouTube, thumbnail, Etsy cover, standard aspect ratios, widescreen, 16 by 9. That was the other one I was looking for yesterday. A banner. Again, you can readjust the photo accordingly. So you can go through these at any given time and pick whatever you want or jump right back to the one you were in. So we did resize, we did theme, we did palette, we did photo, and we did text. That's Adobe Spark Post. Now when you're done, you click share, and then at this point you can make it available in the Spark community. You can put in your author name. You can put in your author photo, which, yeah, see, I thought I was going to do that. Okay, I'm not going to put in a photo. And then, of course, you can download it. So I can say, download this, give me that graphic now to use anywhere that I want. And that is Adobe Spark Post. All right, and of course, you can create a link to it if you want to got to put a category. Hang on. Select a category. We'll do photography. Okay, create a link. And that will give me a link to be able to share this image as well. But you get the image. You can post the image any way you want. All right, so that is Adobe Spark Post. So I'm going to jump out now, back to Spark. And notice when I went to Spark, it went to the My Projects tab. And your My Projects tab will be blank until you create some projects. But this will be your full list of every project you've created, even the ones you originally created in the mobile apps. So if you use Slate before or Post or Voice before, those ones will get synced to the cloud and be available if you're signing in with an Adobe ID, the same Adobe ID. If not, then this won't be here. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create, hey, Paulina, how are you? Paulina, so good to see you here. Mad Mips, what's going on? Star Crunch, hey, what's up? All right, so we're going to go ahead and click create again, and we'll create a page this time. Now, the page is going to be a little different because the page is, remember, that's the web page that can either be short or very long, extensive, whatever you want to tell your story about. So this is I'll use the example I used yesterday since it'll be quick and we're also running out of time. We've got 20 minutes left before the next stream, my next part 2. So I'm going to do I'll do the same one I did yesterday and also, and that was not in memory of, but acknowledging the fact of what happened with Egypt Air yesterday. So I'm going to say my Egyptian themed photo shoot. And of course the subtitle's optional, but since it is one that I'm going to now, at this point, I've given it a title. I can also, at this point, pick themes. So if I pick a different theme, it'll show me what the themes look like. Trek and Storybook are fairly new. Nightcap used to be there before. Crisp, Whimsy, Vintage. So this will change different aspects of your... is that chic? Yeah, I kind of like chic. Different aspects of your story as you're... putting items in. So let's go back to chic. I kind of like that one. All right, so next we'll close the theme and then it's wanting the background photo. So as you remember, most of those pages we saw, all of the pages we saw, as a matter of fact, had a background photo to them. So we're going to just go ahead and choose it. And you get the same options. Do you want to upload a photo from your drive or do you want to use any of the other online storage ways? Now, where it says find photos, that's find royalty-free photos that you can use. Maybe you don't have a photo and you want to use one of the ones that are available free to use. But in this case, I do have photos. This time I'm going to pull up one from Lightroom again. So it's going to load in my Lightroom collections. And it takes a few seconds to do that. I also have several, so I don't know if that matters. But I'll go ahead and pick for my Egyptian themed collection here. And I think I used this one yesterday, so we'll use it again. And that will load in that image from Lightroom, in my case, into the background of this Spark page. Now at this point, I can scroll down, and then I'm going to get prompted to add in whatever my next thing will be. And that's totally up to you. You want to add a photo, you want to add text, you want to add a hyperlink to anywhere you want. You want to add, which is new, a video, you want to add a photo grid, or you want to add a glide show. Totally up to you. So usually people put in text next to start talking about the story. And since I already have a big heading on the first page, I don't need a heading here. Let's see, I can say, maybe I do. Let's do this. Let's do behind the scenes. All right, so now, when I do this behind the scenes and I highlight any part of it, I can make this a headline, H1 or H2. So I'm going to make it an H2. And of course I can make it a bullet list, a quote, a numbered list, bold, italic, left, center, or right justified. So I'm going to go ahead and do maybe centered on that, and then we'll add in more text. All right, so now I can just go for it. I can type paragraphs, paste in text, whatever I want to do, or just simple lines. Or let's do this. And nothing is more boring than watching someone type. So I suggest you paste in the text if someone's watching you. I had the vision of doing an Egyptian styled photo shoot for about 3 years before all the pieces came together, and I decided to go for it. All right, so whatever, as much text as you want or as little text as you want. Then you put in your next thing. Can you edit the name of the page or the link, or is it random? I don't know what you mean by the name of the page, but the link is created by Adobe, so it's random from Adobe's standpoint. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about that when it's time to publish. So let's go ahead and click the plus sign here. All right, and HTML5, no self-promotions here. This is not a sales pitch for you to advertise your businesses and services in the chat. So please respect the chat. Thanks. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and create our next thing, which again could be whatever you want. So if I do a behind the scenes photo, I could do a behind the scenes photo here. It's going to take the same amount of time to bring up the Lightroom collection for whatever reason, but it does. And by the way, so instead of me coming in, clicking a photo, adding a photo, doing whatever, you can add more than one at a time. So if you're like, oh God, do I have to wait for that every single time? Just add them all in at once. Then you can go ahead and put all the stuff in between you want. So in this case, that's not really what I want to do, but let's go ahead and let's do this one. All right, so we'll do an import. We'll bring that photo in. Now that photo comes in, and at any given time, I can go ahead and pick how I want that to be here. So remember we did the fill the screen before. We saw that one before. We saw the scrolling window before. We saw the full width before. So you can choose any one of those. So let me go ahead and say that I want to, I don't know. Let's do we can do it inline for this one. Yeah, let's do inline for this one. The other thing that I love about this, and this is fairly new, it didn't always do this, is it pull the metadata or the description from the photo from Lightroom. So this is actually typed in the original Lightroom photo, which went to Lightroom Mobile and now got pulled into Adobe Spark page. So again, I can keep going. I don't need to put any more text there because we have text there. So I can put in the next thing, whatever that is, hyperlink video or whatever. So what I want to do in this case is I want to go ahead and put in a photo, let's see, do I want a photo grid or a photo slideshow? Or glide show. Let's do a glide show. So Glide Show, same thing. Where do you want to get the photos from? So we'll wait for a second while I look at the chat. I'm to try Spark page on my desk. I will put maybe 1 or 2 pictures, black and white. Okay. All right, so now I can grab some other photos. So I want that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And we'll go ahead and import them in. And now it's bringing them all in at once. And as I go through my Glide Show, I can say, oh, wait, no, I want this one to be higher up in the list. Let's just move it up. So you can't drag and drop them, but you can use the arrows to move them around. So I want the next one to be a little higher up. Maybe we'll go there. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And the Glide Show itself, once you're done, you click Save, and these will again go full width. And then you get the option to, and you can see the little scroll effect there, you get the option to add in a caption, whether that caption be text, a photo, or video for each one, for each photo. So as I scroll through, that's the caption for that one. As I scroll through, that's the caption for that one. So maybe for this one, I want to put in a caption, but this time the caption is going to be an actual photo. So the caption could be text, obviously, but in this case, I want to use a behind-the-scenes photo that I saw there. And the behind-the-scenes photo is going to be the one from the makeup. So she was getting her makeup done by one of my favorite makeup artists, and I can put that in, makeup by Huda. Okay, so I've got that in, and then we can go in and keep going. Let's say that on this one I want to do one more, and we'll do one more, and we got 2 more things to do, and then we're done with this particular project. All right, we'll put in my behind the scenes of me actually doing a photo shoot right there. And again, that will, I thought I saw it pull in the description there. Maybe oh, there it is. Okay, so the description will be there, and then we'll keep going. Now, if you don't put one in, like I left a couple of these blank, the box won't be there when you're done. So it's just letting you know this is still editable, but if you don't put anything there, then this whole white box will disappear. All right, so now we're at the end here where I can put in more text. So let's do one more thing. Text. There we go. All right, and then now I'm going to put in an actual video. This is fairly new. So the video that you put in could be one of 3 sources. It can be hosted by YouTube, Vimeo, or it could be what we're going to do next, which is a Spark video. So if you did a Spark video telling your story, that Spark video could be put into your Adobe Spark page. So in this case, this is what I fumbled around with yesterday, trying to find an actual video from years ago when I did this. So I found the video, don't have to worry about looking for it again. Paste the URL in, save, and that will pull in the YouTube video in this case. So now when this is all said and done, that video will be there ready to go. So the next thing that I want to do is put in, last but not least, a link and more of my photography. And then we put in the URL that we want that to go to. And make sure your URL is right, otherwise it won't work. And save, and that will be the link to go there. So now at this point, let's say I'm done. I want to look at it before I post it to the internet. So let's go ahead and preview it. And preview shows me exactly, because I'm in a browser, exactly what people will experience when they're looking at it in their browser. So I scroll through, I see the scroll effects, I see the captions. On the ones that don't have captions, I don't see the white box. On the ones that do have captions, I do. And there's the video, and if I play the video goes full screen, which is nice. All right, and that's what it looks like. And then at the very end, this is what will be there. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. And when I close the preview. I'm back to editing, so I can put in more things if I want it. But at this point, I'm ready to share. So when I share it, I get the option, of course, of making it discoverable in the Spark community. So maybe mine will be inspiration someday. I could put it in the category that it goes in. I could put the author credits in, an author photo, and more options, add my own photo credit. So when I create the link, that will create a link that, this is the random link that I was talking about earlier. You don't get to choose this, but it will make this shareable link that you can give to anyone on the internet and they'll be able to view this. Or you can post it to Facebook, Twitter, or email it, or use the embed code to embed it on your existing website. So can video be on full screen on the background? No, it can't. So in this case, you can embed the whole thing as a embeddable thing, story page on your existing web pages, blogs, or whatever. So at that point, I could share it, copy the link, give it to whoever I want, post it, social media, whatever. So I'll go ahead and post this link in the chat so you guys can see it. There we go. And that's that. Okay, so next up, and I'm going to jump this where I'm going to switch browsers real quick. Jump over, and the next one we're going to do, and again, notice that it's keeping track of every single one you do. It's keeping track of your posts, your pages, and then next one we're going to do is a Spark video. So we'll switch to Spark video. Ooh, I got 8 minutes left. So this shouldn't take long because I'm not going to do a big long thing on this one. But at this point, I'm just going to say building. I'll use the same one I did yesterday, building a new home. And we'll do next. And then it lets you pick kind of like a theme. So remember how we had themes in post, we have themes in pages, we have themes in video. So what are you doing? Are you trying to promote an idea? Are you telling what happened? Are you talking about a hero's journey? Are you doing show and tell, personal growth? Or you can keep going. Or make up your own. Now, the only reason you're using these templates, or these, I shouldn't say templates, these themes, is it's helping you by suggesting what you would do. So it's suggesting, put in your opening, talk about you, what it is, why, show it, how, so forth and so on. You can do your own where it doesn't put those things in. So it's totally up to you. So at this point, it's asking for the initial photo, icon, or text. So I could say, for example, oh, you know what? Let's do this instead. Let's do layout. And I'm going to do this one. I'm going to change it. Now you can change this up. So I didn't like the fact that it was just a photo or text. I'm going to do a photo and a text caption. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the photo. Same choices, same whatever. Yep, we're in Chrome at this point. In this case, I'm going to do New Home Collection 2016. There we go. And we'll just grab one of the initial shots here. And we're just going to go ahead and add our text. Building a new home in 2016. Okay. And now at this point, since it is about narration, you get the option to narrate your story at this point. So you can do as many takes as it takes. You can make it as long or as short as you want. And you would then go in and do the next one. So for example, let me see what I want to say here. And you hold the mic button down to narrate your story. So let's hold it down and let's say, wow, in 2016, I never thought I would be moving into a home, let alone building a new one, but here we are. All right, so I could play it back. I can also, once you start recording, by the way, since you're doing this in the browser as opposed to the app, you can also go to your voice settings your camera settings in your browser to choose which mic it's going to use. Yesterday, I was using a mic on the laptop that was closed. So this time I'm using one of my external mics. So at this point, now when I hit play, you probably won't hear much, but you're not only going to hear my voice, but you're also going to hear the background music, because each template or each theme has background music as well. So let's go.
In 2016, I never thought I would be moving into a home, let alone building a new one, but here we are.
All right, so and I don't know how well you could hear that or not, but here, let me turn the mic around.
Wow, in 2016, I never thought I would be.
All right, so that's what it sounds like, and there's some piano music going on in the background. That music was part of the theme that I chose. If you don't like that music, change it. You have tons of built-in music, and I know in the app you can upload your own, and it looks like here you can upload your own as well. So you can upload your own song and have that playing in the background as well. Can you add in public domain or Creative Commons licensed music? And the answer is yes, right there. You beat me to it with a question, but I was already headed there. All right, so if you like what you did on this one, then you just move to the next one. Just go to the next frame and add in your text, your story, your whatever, your picture to talk about, and you talk about the next part of the process. So I'm going to do one more real quick. We've got 4 minutes left. Let's go grab another photo. Oh, wrong one. That's from the model. Hold on. Wrong one. There we go. And let's just say we'll do this one. And again, you tell whatever part of this story it would be. One of the advantages from building from scratch is that you get to pick all your custom options, all the things you want to be a part of your new home. And then that's it. So now you've got the 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, how many ever you made, and you can play them back individually here, or you can play the whole thing back here. And you can add in more in between or anywhere along the way. So if I wanted to add in one before the first one, I could. But now let's play it back.
Wow, in 2016, I never thought I would be moving into a home, let alone building a new one, but here we are. One of the advantages from building from scratch is that you get to pick all your custom options.
All right. So that's it. That's pretty much how it works. And then once you're done telling your entire story with your images, your text, and your voice, then you click share. So you get share, you get to download the video that it makes and use that video any way you want. The music that comes with the themes is royalty free. And or you can upload it and Adobe, or you can share it, I should say, and Adobe will give you a link just like we do on Page and just like we do on Post. And it's hosted by Adobe for free. So your choice. Is there an option in an Adobe Spark page for another domain? Nope. It is what it is. Not sure why anyone would use Opera. There are people that love Opera. That's why Opera is still around. All right. But anyway, pick whatever you want. There will always be a music critic anytime there's music playing. Pick whatever you want and continue on. All right, so right on time here. I'm just trying to see if there are any more questions that I haven't answered. And I don't think there are. So next up, we're finished with Adobe Spark. So check it out. Oh, I'm not finished. No, I got two more things. Sorry, I'm not finished. I forgot. Real quick, I was going to show you the options that aren't available yet on the web. So here I am in my iPhone. I'm going to go ahead and go to my Adobe folder. And in my Adobe folder, I've got Spark Post, Spark Video, and Spark Page as apps. So they're available as iOS apps for iPad and iPhone. So when I go to Spark Post, two things that you can't do on the web. You see all these featured themes and seasonal themes and themes by categories. You can see very simple. Like a matter of fact, I'm seeing them right here on the website. I'm seeing them right behind this page. But on the app, the advantage here is that not only do I get to see them, but I get to start with them. So if I like this, how to make sky lanterns look, but I want to change the text, I want to change the image, I want to change anything else, I can tap on that one, see it bigger, and then once I tap on it, I can tap remix. So the feature that's not on the web is the remix feature. You don't get to remix the themes on the web yet. And that may or may not come. The yet is not an indication that the feature will be added. All right, next and last but not least, before we switch over the stream, is that of course I can go in and make my own, do my own text here. So I can say, instead of how to make lanterns, I could do how to, let's get rid of this, how to stream on Twitch. We'll use that as our example text. And we'll say done. And of course, I could change this to, this also, we'll change this hashtag to SparkMade. That's the hashtag you should use if you want your sparks discovered. And now that I've got that, of course, I can swap out the photo. So once I'm done, I can also do another thing that I can't do on the web, and that is the animation feature at the bottom right. So the animation feature is brand new in this release of iOS Spark. Just came out yesterday. And what it allows you to do is when you tap animation, you get some preset animation. So if I tap fade, it will fade on. If I tap slide, it'll slide in. If I tap grow, it will grow. If I tap zoom, the photo will zoom behind it. If I tap pan, the photo will pan behind it. And you can keep going. There are different ones for color and blur and things like that. So there's the one that blurs and then gets sharp. There's the one that fills in. There's the color one. But anyway, let's go back to pan. I kind of like that one. Now if I'm ready to share this one, then I can go ahead and just say okay. And now when I share, I get the option of either sharing it as video. So it'll just make a 4-second video out of this. And 4 seconds, of course, can be posted anywhere. Even if you could post a Snapchat with a separate app, you could even post a Snapchat since they're limited to 10 seconds. So you can tweet it, you can Instagram it, you can do whatever. And you can even save it as a live photo, which is kind of cool. And you can use your live photos to be the animation. So if you've got a live photo in your camera roll from your 6S or 6S Plus, you can use that live photo to be the animation behind the text. Or you just save out a static image. So your choice to save the post any way you want. So those are the two things not available on the web version of Spark. All right, and with that said, thanks for those of you who have joined me for my first hour. Now it's time to switch the stream over to my second hour, which is going to be Introduction to Lightroom CC Part 6. We're going to talk all about Lightroom Mobile. If you're just joining me, we just finished up an hour on the brand new Adobe Spark. You'll be able to catch that on the video on demand or replay on my YouTube channel at terrywhite.tv or the Adobe or the twitch.tv/Adobe/profile to watch it as a video on demand here on Twitch. So with that said, I'm going to say goodbye to the first hour and also stop the recording. If you're watching me live, you don't have to go anywhere. Just hang out for like 10-15 seconds. Let me stop the broadcast and start it with the new title, and then away we'll go. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in a few